Today I'm joined by a Middlesbrough record breaker, an AEK Athens legend. His name is Dimitrios and he's here today. I welcome you to the show.
Good to be here. Good to see you.
You've had a very interesting career. It spanned in Hartlepool and you've become a club legend, I would say, over there, Portugal, in Greece. But where did it all first start for you? Was it in the streets of Greece?
Yes, pretty much. I started when I was 8 years old at a local club and for the juniors, and I went up the ranks. Obviously, in that time, I was starting to get involved with the national setups, under 14s, under 16s, and then by the age of 16, 17. I got a move to a League One club in Greece. That was a summer, and then I played until January there, and then I got a transfer to a Premier League club in Greece. And from then on, obviously, I stayed there for a few years, and then I went to Portugal.
It's interesting for me because I spoke to someone from Greece a few weeks ago and he was talking to me about the corruption and the fact that sometimes it's harder to get into a Greek setup. But you managed to break through that realm. And how did that go? Was it easy for you to get the opportunity?
Um, it's not easy. A lot of the times in Greece, it's unfortunately it's who you know, not as much how good you are. But I think eventually, if you make the difference, and you know if you sort of doing really well, they don't have a choice but to call you. I found myself many times on the bench on those setups, and someone else playing because he was playing on a bigger club than me, another kid. Uh, I was a usual occurrence, but uh, I carried on, and I thought I was good enough, and eventually they recognized my ability, I guess, and I end up being a regular.
Were you always a goalkeeper?
No, well, as a kid, you experiment. When you grow up, you play all positions, and it was the same with me. But I had a I had a bit of a bug to dive around, and I was actually playing basketball at the growing up as well, and I held my hands and my coordination. So doing those things together actually helped me being a goalkeeper, and then obviously I realized that that's my best position. I enjoyed it, and since I started playing in goal, I never looked back and never thought I'd do anything else.
You spent 6 years at a club in Greece called Kalamata, and that was really the takeoff point for you, where you've ended up getting these moves to the bigger teams. But what did that teach you in the first few years of your major career?
The the smaller ones, the League One club and the Sunday League club, you mean?
Yes, yes.
No, no, that was when you start your career as a kid, you're amongst thousands of other kids that want to become professionals. Uh, strangely enough, I since I started, and I look back now, and I think it was not naive, but I didn't know any better. I thought this is what I like to do. This is what I'm going to do as a profession growing up, and a lot of the times that's not the case with many kids because uh, just fall off or the careers don't blossom. But I thought that would be my career. And obviously, you need to be a bit lucky as well. You need to avoid injuries. You need to get some breaks, and obviously, you need to be good enough. And yeah, I'm very grateful for that, and obviously ending up having a good career in Greece and obviously in the UK.
What age were you when you decided that you could take it on as a profession?
I was 16 and a half, and yeah, I had an offer from a League One club, um, and my mom and dad pushed him to become a professional, not a semi-professional that they used to do with kids with less wages and just to be a professional. So yeah, that was my first professional contract, and I managed to break into the team straight away from the preseason in that summer. I was lucky to have a great coach, great manager who really taught me a lot, and he worked with me because up until that time I was basically very raw. I was just a tall kid with some potential, and he just put me in the team, League One, 17 years old, and uh, every day in training he helped me progress, and he taught me stuff that until the end of my career I put into practice, and they really helped me. So yeah, after that, I only because I was doing well, I managed to play about 10, 12 games, and then I was picked up by a Premier League club in Greece.
It's difficult for some people, like you said earlier, who don't quite make it into that where they want to be, whether it be professional or semi-professional. And then you've taken that risk to try and make it professional, which ended up happening. But why was that risk one that you were willing to take?
Look, as a kid, there's many sacrifices. You have to be dedicated to it. You can't be doing stuff that normal school kids do at that age. Going out or going to parties and going in. I didn't go to in Greece. We had in high school. We had at the end of the high school, all the senior kids would go 5 days away. Like a holiday. I didn't go to that. I had to be trained, and I had to be with the national team. So you do have to do sacrifice, and it's hard for some kids because you want to enjoy that time really. But it depends on your mindset and how how much you want it. And I think I wanted to become a footballer more than anything.
When you got picked up by that Premier League club in Greece, that must have been a huge step at the age of 17. And what was it like then, the transition period from playing at an amateur team to now taking it very seriously?
It was brilliant because I was doing that well at the League One club, and because there was other interest from other Premier League clubs as well. It was surreal. In the end, me and my dad, we chose Kalamata FC. Uh, and after I signed for the club, about for 2 weeks after I made my debut in the Premier League, and I remember sitting on the dugout. I was playing against Olympiacos, huge team, and I remember being on the just before you get out and sitting next to the players that I had their posters on my room. About a year ago, I was about to go and play against them, and I was thinking, oh my God. But yeah, you have to adapt and adjust really quickly.
How did you adapt?
Uh, it's again, I think it's an individual thing. It takes some time. Some people take longer. People take less time. I'm generally very easy to adapt in new situations and to get up to speed. And that's what gave me the opportunity at the Premier League club as well. As soon as I went there, my main goal was I didn't care. I just turned 18. My main goal was just how am I going to break into the first team, and I would just training no stop, trying to improve every day, and I would just. Bearing in mind, I was 18, 17 and a half, 18-year-old kid that when I was alone in a different town, but I didn't care about that. I wasn't feeling homesick. I wasn't focusing on all that. I was focusing on the football, and I think that helps you adapt quicker.
And how did that plan out then? How did your time at Kalamata, how did that end up happening or going?
It was all right. I played a few games the first season. Then there was a lot of changes. Managers were changing. A manager will come and would like you and play a few games, and then another manager will come and think you're too young, maybe. And at that point, I had one spell on loan to a championship team in Greece, which we got promoted. When I went there, and I returned back, but my ambition was always to get out of Greece, preferably in the UK. But that opportunity came via Portugal, and I had to go there first.
When a manager changes at a football team, whether it be as a kid or as an adult, what sort of impact does that have on you as a player?
Uh, it does have an impact. I think it brings first of all uh, like freshness in a way, as in the competition between the players rises up again because some managers would have a settled team or like some players more. and the new manager comes and everyone's looking at it as a new opportunity to break into the team. So it brings the competition a bit, to the surface. But again, I think it's in this day and age, it's up to the manager who's at a club, no matter how long they are at the club for, to keep that competition high. That means, making all players feel valuable, uh, using rotation, uh, giving opportunities, and eventually everyone is trying to break into that team, and everyone is happy. And I think it's a good trait for a manager to have.
How do you make every player valuable?
I think it starts from the little things. It starts from interaction every day. Even going and asking a player who's not even in the squad how they're doing, how's the family. That straight away coming from the manager makes them feel part of the team. And it's showing the players and explain to them that this is the reason why you're not in. Either it's tactical, or I don't think you're there yet, or but you know if you show me that you are there, I'll give you opportunity. I think all that uh, makes players want to compete and want to try harder. Uh, and it doesn't happen a lot. I think a lot of managers have cast a lot of players aside. They don't even look at them for whatever reason. And I think that's what makes a manager lose certain players.
As a goalkeeper like yourself, how do you improve or impress a manager to make them pick you?
Our position is unique, as you know, and you don't get many opportunities. You don't get to go on as a sub and make an impact. So it requires, I think, more mental strength when you're not in the team to keep doing the best you can in training or the games you're playing, or because if you go into a mode that I'm disappointed and as you start sulking, the only thing you do is you're not progressing, you're not improving, and you make it easier for the manager to say, well, you're not good enough. While I had it many times in my career, whenever I wasn't in a team, I made it clear to the manager that I want to break in the team, and every day I would put 100% in training, and eventually I break in. And most of the managers I played for, that's what they were saying, that no matter whenever when I wasn't picked, I would still be the same in training. I think that's a good thing to have as a player, and I think every manager wants players like that.
You ended up moving to Portugal, and this was after your spell in Greece. That was a bit of a different change. Why was the route in Portugal better for you?
It was an opportunity from a club in the Championship in Portugal, and it didn't turn out to be very good decision because the club had huge financial problems, and weren't getting paid. Uh, it was literally a disaster, organization wise. But I stayed there for nearly a year. It was a great experience. He helped me a lot for the future. Strengthen my character. I was in a country that didn't speak the language. I went there and I had to learn the language quick. I had to adapt. I was on my own, but yeah, it definitely helped me. And I think every experience, every sort of trial or every hard time you have in your career, is sort of you should be seeing it as shaping you up to be better in the future.
What's it like then to play in Portugal? What were the facilities like over there?
It's facility wise wasn't bad. It was just a lot of countries like Portugal, I think Spain, uh, Greece, Italy, Turkey have the same culture, that the payments are not on time. The clubs usually get into financial turmoil, which delay payments to players for months, and it's not easy to keep playing and keep training without being paid. A lot of people might not understand that because they think footballers get a lot of money, but it's not the case always, because there's a lot of footballers in clubs like like that in those countries that they rely on those on that money, and it's very hard. So it's a big distraction outside the pitch, which makes it harder to perform on the pitch.
I believe after your time in Portugal, you moved over to England and played in Hartlepool. And what sort of division were they in at the time?
When I signed for Hartlepool, they were in League One, and I signed initially as a trialist. Well, I went as a trialist, and after about a long 1 month trial, they gave me a short deal for about 3 months, and then after that, I signed a proper contract. But I had to earn the trust. I was a foreign player just breaking in the English football, and I had to show my worth, and that's what my goal was. And I didn't care how long it would take, because as I said, I wanted to come and try and play football in the UK, and that was my opportunity. And in the end, obviously, I had a long career in the UK.
In the build up to your debut in England, I think you played Sheffield Wednesday. What was your emotions leading up to the game and during the game?
The debut in England with Hartlepool.
Yes.
I think no. I think my first game was against. It was a cup game against Hull City. I think in the cup, and we won on penalties, as I recall. It was good. I was buzzing. It was my first game. I didn't want to overthink it. I just tried to approach it as a normal game, because if you overthink it, then you end up playing the occasion and not the actual game. And that's what I did. And I did all right. We won the game on penalties, and then I was ready for my next opportunity. And eventually, it came, and I became a regular.
But how did you push yourself to become a regular? Because when you signed, surely you weren't in contention to even be in the team.
You just have to buy your time. You just have to show the manager that you're better than the goalkeeper that's playing, and wait for an opportunity. That's what I did. I had a different traits as from the goalkeeper that I was playing at the time. I was bigger. I was better in the air, and League One football is a lot of aerial battles and crosses. So eventually, the manager, I think he realized that I was offering bigger help, and obviously after I broke in the team, then we had 3 great seasons. Where I was lucky to have a great group of boys with me, and we broke a lot of records at Hartlepool.
Your time in Hartlepool, though, was one that you later on went to return to the club after you had an amazing career. And why did you decide to return to the club? Why was it so special to you?
Hartlepool is where my family still lives. My wife is from Hartlepool, and my family lives in Hartlepool. My kids go to school in Hartlepool, so that the Northeast in general has been home to me for the last 17, 18 years. So yeah, it's very familiar environment, and I feel very comfortable there. And people have been very good to me.
When you moved from Portugal to Hartlepool, when they were in League One, what was it like? What was the comparison and what were the differences to those two countries?
It is different, because I was a fan of the English football and the football in the UK. I always saw it as a bigger occasion, a lot more organized, a lot more professional. Things that the clubs, you don't have to worry about. About if you're going to get paid, or other outside of the pitch issues. So yeah, I saw it, and obviously, the Premier League is the Premier League, and it's like the NBA of football. So everyone wants to be there. So I thought, if I can make it in the UK in English football, then I can make it anyway. So that was my goal.
After many, many games in Hartlepool, you decided to leave. And where did you go next? Was it to Middlesbrough?
No, from that, my contract expired, and they offered me another 5-year deal at Hartlepool, but I had many offers from Championship clubs. Amongst them was Coventry, and I decided to go to Coventry. which I stayed for 3 years, in between 3 loans there. But I was at an age about 26, and I thought I could stay at Hartlepool at a long-term contract, but I thought that was my chance to try myself in the higher leagues. So yeah, I took it, and again, it was great experiences. I played for great clubs, and I really enjoyed it.
You played 28 games for Coventry. Is that a disappointing number, or do you wish that that's quite a good number?
Obviously, you want to play as many games as you can. Yeah, I played 28 games, and I had a bad injury. I snapped my Achilles, which took me back about nearly a year. Uh, when I returned, obviously there was another goalkeeper playing, and it's not easy. So I decided to go on loan and sort of restart my career. And yeah, it's part of the journey. It's a lesson, to take the good times and the bad times on your stride, and come out of it better.
When you got injured and you were out for a year, why was a loan move the best option for you? Why couldn't you have stayed at the club?
Because there was at the time, as soon as I returned, I wanted to go playing, and I didn't want to, sit and wait for a chance. And the loan move offered me that opportunity. So yeah, I took it, and I had a few games at Swansea, then a few games at Cardiff. Because no matter how much you train after a long injury, it's not the same as match fitness. It's not getting up to speed, or even if you play reserve games. So I want to get straight into competitive games, and I thought it was a good opportunity for me, and it was. It was great experience at Swansea and a great experience at Cardiff.
They're two very big teams in Wales, and I think you're very privileged to be able to play for those teams, big statures, big teams, big fan bases. And when you play in front of those packed stadiums of 20, 30,000 capacity, what emotions run through you?
Um, I, I used to get a boost from the home fans, when the atmosphere is good, and I think every player does that. But it's in football. I think it's you have to try to keep, when you play, the emotions out. Especially, I think the bigger the crowd, the easier it is in a way, because you you don't have to hear individual comments. you know, it's the atmosphere is better, so the buzz is better, and the adrenaline is higher. But I tend to try to block out every external, you know, influence, in the game, and try to concentrate on the game, because our position is a position that uh, needs a lot of concentration and focus.
When you were playing in the high tiers in England, what was your match day routine? When you woke up, what sort of things would you do?
I think every footballer, every athlete, I think they're a little bit superstitious. We all have our triggers and our little superstitions. So I had a few. I had to do the same things in the morning. I had to, and then as you go on, if you're doing well, there's little other bits start creeping in, and in the end, you look like you have OCD. But I think I don't see them as superstition. I see them as triggers, because you need to do the same routine, because that's when you turn on the game mode yourself. So I had to put my right boot before my left boot, my right glove before my left. I had to touch the bar, and then obviously you start making some superstition routines with other players. For example, I had George Friend, the left back at Middlesbrough. Every game he had to come to the 18-yard box before the game starts. He would come. He would uh, give a high five at the edge of the 18-yard box, and then I have to give him a smack, and then we'll just get the game going. So yeah, it was our routine, and I think it's good to have that, because it helps the banter as well.
What's the goalkeeper's worst nightmare? Is it a penalty? Is it a free kick?
No, the goalkeeper's worst nightmare for me was to be in a game that you don't have nothing to do all game, and then concede a sloppy goal towards the end of the game. And I think these are the hardest games, because when you're not in the thick of the action, and you play for a team that they're capitalizing all the time and they're on top, and you have to keep your concentration a lot more than if you're warm all the time or if you're making saves. So yeah, that helped me a lot at Middlesbrough because we were a team that we were winning a lot. But I knew every game I might have to do one or two things, but I had to do them well. Otherwise, it doesn't look very good. So yeah, I think these are the games that take a lot of you because I came out of some games with a headache, trying to stay focused all the time. So yeah, I think any goalkeeper will tell you that being called to intervene and not being able to do it, that's the worst situation.
When you're playing for these clubs like Middlesbrough, what sort of buzz do you get out of the game? We spoke about that a bit before, but when you're in a team bus, when you're approaching the game, when there's no fans in sight, how do you get into the game mode? Is it with the music? Is it just talking to your friends?
Everyone's got a different approach. I used to listen to some music. I used to listen to the same songs. Then I just you know be quiet, just change, do my own thing. Some players just want to interact with everyone. Some players get jokes. It depends on the character, on the personality of the player. I wanted to be focused to just think about the game, and then when I got in the warm up, that was a switch. That was game on.
How did you end up moving to Middlesbrough? How did the opportunity come about?
It came about. My contract finished at AK Athens in Greece, and I was a free agent, and I was back in England, obviously, uh, to my house in Hartlepool, and it was about mid-August, I think, late August, and I just got a call from the goalkeeping coach back then, Stephen Pearce, who knew me from my time at Coventry, and they had an injury, and they were short on numbers, basically, the goalkeepers. So he asked me if I'm available, if I want to come in and sign a short-term contract, and I said, of course. I always thought Middlesbrough was a big club, and it was a great opportunity. But I went in there with not the the vision to just stay for a few months. I went in there to thinking that as soon as I get my opportunity, I will take it, and I can stay here as long as I can. And obviously that's how it ended.
You came into the role at Middlesbrough with Europa League experience on your hands. And how did that come about with Athens? Did you have to qualify yourself or did you join a team that was already qualified?
No, we qualified. Actually, the team before I signed, the season before, it just managed to be able to get to the playoff games to go to the group stages. So yeah, we played 4 games for qualification via the knockouts, the playoffs, and we ended up getting to the group stage. We had a good team, and we did really well. It was really enjoyable the first season, but the second season wasn't as good because the club had tremendous financial problems and a lot of players left, so we're struggling a lot.
When you played in the Europa League, what was the best memory that you had? What was the biggest crowd that you played against?
I played in Georgia, the second leg of the qualified group. We beat Dynamo Tbilisi at home in front of, I think, 50,000 of our fans. And then we went there, played at a packed stadium, very, very loud, very electric atmosphere in the capital. It was about 55, 60,000 fans, I think. It was a very tense game, but we managed to draw 1-1 and just get qualified.
Every kid's dream is to shut their eyes and just dream about playing in the Europa League, Conference League, or Champions League. And you had the opportunity to play in the Europa League, and that must have been a big step up from the last few years from League One. Oh, sorry, yeah, from League One, and now playing in the Europa League. What sort of impact did you have on the team in that qualification rounds?
Um, of course, it was a step up, and I was coming from a season playing for another team in Greece, a newly promoted team. That's how I got my transfer to AK Athens, because I was voted the best goalkeeper in the league that season, and then I had offers from the big clubs, and I chose to go to AK Athens, and it was a normal progression. I think you're adapting slowly when you believe in yourself, and you think that you're good enough, then eventually you work towards that. I think the worst thing is self doubt at an athlete in general, not just football. Anyone can have their own opinions about you. If you start doubting yourself, I think that's what the problem starts. So you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have good days, but as long as you keep a level head and not go through the motions on and off the pitch, that creates consistency. And being consistent is the key, I think, to any success.
When you played in the Europa League and you heard your fans cheering in Georgia or cheering away from home, were they still as crazy as they were at home?
Yeah, they were actually quite loud. In Greece, the fans are quite passionate and they tend to follow the clubs everywhere. But yeah, and AK Athens have a huge fan base, one of the biggest clubs in Greece, and yeah, they were following us everywhere, and they're really passionate, and they always want to support the club, and they come with the drums and the flares, and taking the shirts off, and it's a good thing to see as a player, that backing you have.
Do you prefer those sorts of fans, or do you prefer the fans that just like to chant, or do you like the excess fans with the pyros, the tops off, the flags?
I like uh, I like fans that they're singing. I like the atmosphere being, fans that they're in the game, they live in the game. You know the the shouts for the bad decisions or shouts for a missed goal. I like that. I'm not a big fan of pyro and the flares and all that, and certainly not a fan of hooliganism or that tends to happen, unfortunately, in Greece still. Um, but no, I like a good atmosphere. I like a tense game, and it gives you that adrenaline.
What's Greek football like? Is it paced or slow paced, or what's the overall standard in Greece?
It's the quality is quite good. It's quite technical, but it's the pace is not as fast. There's a lot of technique involved. There's a lot of the bad thing is that a lot of stoppages, as in fouls, free kicks. The referees give free kicks all the time, and that stops the flow of the game a lot, and it makes it not as uh, not as attractive, in my opinion. But it involves a lot of tactical planning and, in general, good technique.
In Greek football, is there a lot of corruption? Do you often see corruption in Greek football?
Yeah, that's one of the Achilles heels of Greek football. I think that's what is holding the whole football in Greece back, because the fans want to see good football. They want to go to the games, but there's a lot of backstage things going on. There's a lot of times that after big games, most of the talking after the game is not about what happened on the pitch, is what's happening off the pitch, or who said what. He said that to the referee, and that's sad to see, because football should be on the pitch, and that should be it, and should be clean. But it does tend to have a lot of background situations, which I think makes people a bit come a bit off it in a way.
Do you see any sort of end goal for Greece, or do you think they're always going to be corrupt?
I don't know. I hope there is a progression. I think it comes with the people that run football. Once people that are running football in a country are, they want to make football a profitable business, and you know make it a spectacle and make fans fill the stadiums for what's happening on the pitch and not off the pitch. I think that's what is going to make it better. But unfortunately, that's not the case. There are good people, but there are also people who are not you know, they're trying to win at any cost, which a lot of the time might not be, fair.
You played for the Greek national team against Malta in qualifications for the Euros, which you went unbeaten in. What was it like in that game? How did you even get the opportunity? And what was it like to get called up?
It was great. I was actually on my holidays. We finished the league, and one of the keepers got injured. The national team manager back then, Fernando Santos, used to say that we have 4 keepers in the national team, so me and the other 3. But because the other 3 were with him before, obviously they had the advantage. And I think one of them got injured, and I got the call up, and I didn't even get the call up. Didn't only got the call up, but they told me I was playing, so I was off for about 10 days. Then I had to go back in and prepare for about 4 or 5 days for the game against Malta. So I had to get up to speed quite quickly.
How did you get told that you were going to be playing? Was it just a call or was it a text?
Yeah, I think the general manager of the team called me. I was actually my home in Thessaloniki on my holidays, on my time off, and he said to me that listen, I'm going to send you the tickets tomorrow. You're coming in the hotel for the game against Malta, and there was another friendly in America, in New York, and against Ecuador. He said, "Oh, by the way, you're starting as well." I was like, "Oh, okay, no problem. I'll see you there."
When you played against Malta, the 3-1 win that you guys had, what was that like? How did it end up going for yourself personally?
It was good. I enjoyed it. Obviously, there are some nerves before the game because you're representing your country and you're making everyone proud of your family and everyone's watching. I had a bit of a nightmare with the gloves. I just ordered a new pair of gloves. Well, they sent me a new pair of gloves from Adidas, and I just wore them for that game. And because they weren't worn, and it was very humid since the warm, I couldn't catch anything. I was very sleepy, and everything was. I couldn't catch anything clean. So I was thinking, oh, that's not good. And I had a couple of scares in the game, but in the end, obviously, we're a better team. After I settled in the game, it was quite enjoyable.
Why did that opportunity only come once? Why didn't you not play again for the national team?
I don't know. The season after, I was one of the best goalkeepers of the league with AK Athens. I had played Europa League, but it was leading up to uh, the Euros to be, the squad to come out, and everyone was telling me, "You're definitely in, you're definitely in." But the manager just picked the other 3 keepers, which was a bit strange because at that time one of them was injured the full season and only played 1 game, and the other one never played the full season because he was on the bench. So again, it's up to the manager and whatever decisions they make. But I thought I deserved that season to be at least in the squad.
What club were you at when this was all going on?
AK Athens.
So, do you think playing in Greece benefited your chances of being able to play in the Greek national team?
Um, if you're there and you're playing in the national, you're playing in the top division, and the manager can see you basically every week. And he did come to a few games, and he had very good comments to say after the games. But I'm not sure. It's sometimes they see. I think in Greece, they see that if you play in the Championship in England, not as easy to get called up in Greece, which it shouldn't be the case because Championship is a much harder league than the Greek top division. But that's that is the opinion. So yeah, I think if you're playing for a big team in Greece or the top division, it's a bit easier.
When you moved into England, then into Middlesbrough, we're now going to talk about the time that you broke records and you were the main guy in the game there, running up places to move to the Premier League. And when you played for Middlesbrough, how did the move come about before you even got the games?
How the move came.
Yes.
Uh, I was just, as I said, um, I was on my holidays, and I got a call up for Stephen Peters, and I started, training, and I was on the bench for the game straight that week, um, and I signed until January, I think, from August. Then Tony Mowbray was the manager, and he said to me when I first signed that if you only sign for 6 months, but if you do your job well, if prove your worth, you never know, you could be here for the next 5 years. And mind you, I was 34 then, and I think he was saying it just for the sake of it. But I ended up staying 6 years there, so it did come true.
What's Tony Mowbray like as a manager? Because a few years ago, when he went on that rampage with Blackburn, they did a very good job, albeit he's not there now. But what was he like as a manager?
He's a top manager in my opinion. He's a very good person. He's a very good tactician. He wants to play attacking football. For some reason, it didn't work out at Middlesbrough while I was there. We started losing a few games, but his career shows. Wherever he went, it transformed the club and it made them play attractive football, attacking football, and that's what he's doing now at Sunderland as well. And I think he's a top manager.
After all the time that you spent elsewhere, you then moved. Oh, you were at Middlesbrough, sorry, and then you played some big games. You were playing Watford, Queens Park Rangers, those sorts of reputable teams here in London. But what was it like to play against these stadiums, against these fans, against the people?
It was great. I had experience from the Championship before I went to Greece from Coventry. Um, but it's as you progress in your career, stadiums get bigger, fans get more. So it's if that scares you, then you're in the wrong business. I was really enjoying it. I was loving playing in front of full crowds. I was loving playing in front of hostile crowds sometimes. You know, and yeah, it's a great feeling. As a footballer, I think people say that as a footballer you have 9 bad times and 1 good time, and that's what you play for that one time. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
When you were at Middlesbrough, what was the best team that you played against? Because I was looking through some of the games and you didn't play against Manchester City or Arsenal or these sorts of teams, but you were playing against some big teams, like I said, Watford, Queens Park Rangers. What was the best team that you played against?
Uh, the best team. Oh, we had some. Well, we played against Watford when they got promoted. They had a great team then with Dini, Vidra, and really really good team, and they were playing really good fast football. Jokanovic, I think, was the manager. They were playing very attacking football, and yeah, I think our game at home against them was a 0-0, and then we went there and we got beat 3-0 easy. No, sorry, 2-0. And I think they played us off the park, and I think I was one of the best teams I played against.
What's Vicarage Road like when you're there? I've been there loads of times as a fan, but what's it like to play on the pitch?
It's good. It's good atmosphere now, especially that they sort of all the stands are since all the stands were constructed. It's bigger capacity and it's really good atmosphere. It's a really good set of fans, and they really love the club, and you can tell even when it's not going well, they're still trying to push the players onwards. No, it's a great ground to play in, and every game I had there was very enjoyable.
For people who don't know, Watford FC is so close to the pitch. You've got the stands, and you can probably take one step and you're at the pitch. But what's that like as a player on the pitch to be able to have the fans so close to you? Does that impact or does it make your performance better?
I don't know. I don't think it makes any difference. Obviously, you do tend to hear the odd comment every now and then, but it's a part of the game. So yeah, when you play away in those grounds, you're going to have more people shouting at you, closer to you. But again, it's sometimes for me, it's sort of spurred me on a little bit. Just gave me more adrenaline to try to do better. No, but it's enjoyable. I don't like atmospheres in grounds who have a running track because I think it detaches
Yeah.
the crowd from the pitch and it makes it not as good atmosphere. So yeah, I think the closer to the pitch, the fans, the better it is the atmosphere.
You've played with Roberto Martinez. He was the manager, and you worked with him. What was he like as a manager? We all know what he's done with Belgium, and now he's not there. But what did you learn off him, and how good of a manager was he?
He's a great manager, Roberto. I learned a lot from him. He believes a lot in his players. He gives the players a lot of confidence. When I was at Swansea, we had a good team, but he made us feel that we were the best team in the league. And he likes to play, free flowing football. He's very well organized. His training is all about football. He wants the players to always have the football, and he, he he makes training enjoyable a lot of the time because he involves games but with a little bit of competition, which makes them a bit more fun. You know, and he did quite a few occasions. But on a match day, he'll make you feel like you're the best player in the world, and I think that shows to every team he coached.
We've seen with Jurgen Klopp and several other managers, but let's base it off Jurgen Klopp here. When they bought the new AXA training facility, they've played with the under 18s, under 21s. They've bought them as a communal group. So they've now got all the players training next to each other, essentially. What club or what coach benefited from that? What club or coach had all those players training together, regardless of age?
Do you mean if it's better or worse?
It doesn't matter. It's your choice.
No, no. I think it's good. I think it's good to train. To have the under 23s, the under 18s train with you at the same area. It's quite practical as well because a lot of the times, the manager of the first team will need maybe extra 2, 3 players from the under 23s to make up the numbers. And that helps the training flow easier because if you're training next to each other, you can easily swap those players or bring 2 new ones in from the under 23s, and they can show what they can do, and they have a better opportunity to show the first team manager, they're good enough to be able for him to look at them. So yeah, I think it's a lot of benefits from training in the same area. The first team with the under 18s and the under 23s.
Once upon a time, you were training like that. The younger one, playing and training with all these men and players that are so experienced. And then when you're the experienced one and the roles are reversed and there are younger 16, 17, 18-year-olds training with the seniors like yourself, what do you do to them to make them play their best and make them feel more comfortable?
You I think you have to be controlling, harsh. I don't know how to describe it. Harsh, but within a limit, in a way. You want to push them, but not discourage them. Don't not bring the confidence down. You want to try to get them to get up to speed with the first team by pushing them, by you know telling them that they have to give more, but not as much as to get the morale down. And again, it's up to the player. There's a lot of players, young players that are very mature at that age, and they'll do that themselves. But others, they want a little bit more, guidance, I think. And I think after the training or in between the games, you can still have a chat with them and tell them you're doing well or you could be doing that better. I think the young players, when they see the senior players interact with them and sort of take a notice of them, it just gives them more confidence.
So you then decided to retire. Why and what age did you decide to retire?
I retired at 40. It was. I think it was purely because I think it was my next step was to get into coaching, so I wanted to focus into that. Um, I was fine. My body was in good condition. I could have gone on for another couple of seasons, I think. But I think because I saw coaching as the progression of in my career, I thought I had to focus on that and get up to speed with that as soon as possible.
So when you decided to go down the coaching route, why did you decide to do it? Why did you feel like it was right for you? Why did you not decide to play another few years?
Because I thought with the experience that I had over the years and the different cultures, the different styles, different brands of football I've seen, and different managers, which were many of them and very good ones that I played for, I had enough experience to form my own ideas and start developing the brand of football I liked and how I wanted to play and how I saw football. And obviously, you have to go through. It's in essence a new career, and you have to go through different coaching environments and different clubs to enrich the idea that you have. And that's what I've been doing the last 2 years, and I've got a lot of experience from the three clubs, well, the third one that I'm here now. And slowly, it makes you feel more ready for the future.
In 2020, you became the gaffer of Thornaby FC. I think they're here in England. And why did you decide that that was the right team for you? Was there not an opportunity to go elsewhere, or why was this one so appealing to you?
No, Thornaby is a club that it's near Middlesbrough, and it was a time that I was focusing on my coaching, but the owner of the club is a friend of mine, and he asked me to play a few games for them, and I did. And then when the manager left, he asked me to step in as a manager for a few games, and I did. And I did it for myself to see how I would like it, because I didn't know if I would like it myself to be on the bench. The experience, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, from then on, I knew that this is the path.
How do you prepare differently as a manager compared to a player? Surely there's different things that you've got to be doing now.
Yeah, it's a different it's a different post altogether. There's a lot of more preparation involved and a lot more studying and positions and studying your players and trying to make your players better, try to keep your players happy, and um, you have to manage injuries, different bans from cards and stuff. So yeah, it's a lot on the table. It takes a lot of your time, but it's a good challenge because it's I like it. I like the interaction with the players. I like to be able to pass my knowledge to the players, and I like it when the players uh, they buy in it and they improve because of the things that I say.
You returned to Hartlepool as the head of goalkeepers. But what does that mean? Do you just work with the goalkeepers specifically? And what sort of role do you impact within the team?
Yeah, initially, yeah, I was mainly focused on the goalkeepers, but I had some input on the rest of the team. Yeah, when your full career was a goalkeeper, I think it's easily to be branded as a goalkeeping coach, and it's harder to get out of that. Um, so yeah, that was a start for me. Then obviously the season after, I went to Greece and I became an assistant manager, and I've learned a lot. It was the highest level in Greece, and playing against the big teams and the high profile league as well. So yeah, it was a good experience. And as I said, you slowly learn. You take every opportunity to learn, and every situation, either it's at a club that it's luxurious and everything is sorted. Either it's at a club that you don't have as many resources and you need to sort of improvise a lot yourself. Uh, it's still great lesson and great school because it makes you better because you have to do stuff that they're out of your comfort zone.
All three of these clubs that you've been a coach or had a bigger role at in the backroom staff, you spent a year at all of those teams, and now you're over in the Championship in Scotland. But why was Scotland right for you? Why have you decided to go back to your homeland to come back here?
Um, Scotland came about because of the manager. The manager is Lee Bullen. I played with him in Greece, in Kalamata. We're teammates, and when I spoke to him on the phone, because I know him and he's a great guy, and we had great relationship. So yeah, I came up here. I met him, and we had a chat, and I've decided to take it. And as I said, it's another challenge. I believe that anything that gets you out of your comfort zone, anything new, makes you progress and improve. If you stay in your comfort zone and you keep doing the same thing again and again, I don't think there's much improvement in that.
Your philosophy is hard work is one of those things that you stand by and live by every single day. And if someone's not putting in the hard work and they don't want to be at the team, or they're not showing that they want to be at the team, as a person of high authority, what do you do?
Say again, sorry, I didn't hear that one.
Well, your philosophy is hard work. So when
Yeah,
players don't have hard work, whether it be senior players or academy players, as someone high of authority like yourself, what do you have to do to those players?
you have to show them that talent doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a good career. There's a lot of players that they had a great career because of the hard work, not because of the talent. So that's the first and foremost that you need to have. If you have the talent on top of that, that's a bonus. So you don't go very far without working hard because it's a competitive industry, it's a competitive sport, and someone else that works harder than you eventually is going to take your spot.
Your preferred formation is a 4-2-3-1, and that's quite attacking. But why is it your favourite position? Why, as a goalkeeper, do you like to go more attacking?
I found it a lot more flexible. I don't believe a lot in changing formations all the time. I believe that it takes a long time for a group of players to learn to play one formation good. And the better they learn to play it, the easier it becomes, the easier the game flows when they know each other's positions. It's easier. I think it's information that it's easier to twig game by game, defensively or going forward, and it can be very fluid. I believe that um, defending shape it's a base to start the successful team. If you're defensively organized, then you have a plan and everyone follows it. I think from then on, I think on the attacking third, yes, it has to be some sort of pattern, but it has a lot to do with players' creativity. So I like to let players create in the attacking third, but to do that, to get there, you have to have the defensive discipline.
So the team that you're at now, are United, finished second last season behind Dundee in the Scottish Championship, meaning that they are a promotion away from playing against Rangers and Celtic, Hibernian, and all of these big teams. What do you see in the current squad now that could take them to those destinations?
We do have a good team. It's been a lot of changes since last season's team, and there was a lot of new faces came in, and it took a while. I think the start of the season for them to gel. We had some injuries. We just need to get the consistency right. We have some games that were really good, but there's some games that the performance standards drop a little bit. Once we get that right, I think we have a good team. We have a great set of lads, working hard and trying to do the right things, and the good footballers as well. We have got some good experience in the team with Jamie Murphy, Aidan McGeady, um, and we have a lot of young players as well who they're eager, they're very full of energy. So yeah, we have a good blend of players. Just we need to get the consistency right.
When you have such a young team, is that not running a risk, or do you like the younger players to be able to develop them?
There's always a risk, but it's good to. I think first of all, when you have a younger team, you have to be more of a coach than having seasoned footballers who they're going to give you this. But if you get the coaching right, and they get the right guidelines, and they know how to do what you ask of them, I think it's the energy and the passion that they bring. It could be to your benefit. Obviously, you have to get right the mental side of it, because um, young players tend to have those ups and downs in a game or game by game than experienced players. But yeah, that's every game is a learning curve for them, and seeing them improving game by game, that slowly improves the whole team.
And lastly, where do you see your coaching career landing? Where do you see a return to Middlesbrough? Do you want to go Premier League?
I don't know. Yeah, ideally, I want to be in the Premier League one day. It just with football, you cannot make. I've learned that you cannot make long-term plans. You can't even make short-term plans. Never mind long-term. So yeah, the plan is to become a manager at some point and get as high as I can. And where that is going to be, I don't know. If I able to be a manager at Middlesbrough at some point, that would be ideal.
Perfect. I really, really appreciate you coming on, Dimmy, and I wish you all the best. And I really do think that managerial role at Middlesbrough is awaiting.
Thank you very much. It's good to talk to you.